Hi, foster families. My name is Emily Easton, and I'm the recruitment coordinator for Four Oaks Family Connections. And we're here today to talk some more about more resources that foster families come in contact with. And we're here to talk about FCS. You want to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your program?
You bet. My name is Honda Seth, and I am the FCS supervisor out of Marshall County. We also serve Hardin, Grundy, and Hamilton in our area, but we actually have a pretty broad service, several different service areas that we provide family services to.
Yeah, great. And can you tell me, what does FCS stand for, and what are the services that you provide? So when a foster family comes into contact with FCS services, what could they expect? And what does it look like when you work with families?
I'm guessing when they come into contact with us, it's probably pretty overwhelming. So as you said, FCS, that's Family-Centered Services. You're going to hear a lot of different acronyms and a lot of different phone calls from a lot of different people. So you will have different services provided. Overall, we provide what's called solution-based casework to our families. And you'll hear our family support specialist refer to the solution-based casework as SBC.
Okay.
So, and then our family support specialists are FSSs. So it gets a little bit different, but I wouldn't hesitate to ask what all those mean,
Sure.
even if you got to ask 5 or 6 times, because it gets a little overwhelming when we very first put services into place for a family.
Sure. You want to kind of run down what those different services do?
Sure. We have open agency cases, we have non-agency cases, safe care services, and then what's called family preservation services. As far as the foster family world works, they'll most likely see those open agency cases, where a child's been removed from their home.
Right.
Other times they may or may not see them as if they're doing respite care, for something outside of an open agency case with the department. So
within an open agency case, how is FCS involved in the families? Like, what services do they provide to both birth families, and how might foster parents come alongside those?
Oh, I love that question. Honestly, we really look forward to those foster families that embrace making sure that child has contact with their family, and whether that's supporting phone contact, or if you're supporting like our workers and helping the children prioritize and making those visits super important and vital. Because what we see is when kiddos are in different placements and they're away from their families, that's a very difficult change for them. They start to have maybe behaviors they wouldn't, or that sort of thing. So we would be coming into the foster home at least, at very minimum, 1 time a month. And you can expect anywhere from an hour or 2 for our family support specialists to be working with that kiddo to see how they are, where they're at, and what it is that they need. We would also be working with foster parents, hopefully, to collaborate, and if they're needing additional resources or some understanding about a child's behavior or a transition, or whether this is
Sure.
a good idea or not. We're kind of the lifeline to the DHS worker as well.
Yeah. So what kind of services do you provide with birth families, just so that our foster parents can kind of understand what you're doing on the other side of that as well?
Yes. So that's where that SBC, or solution-based casework, comes in. We're really working with families to try to help them take everyday situations and learn how to interrupt those behavioral patterns that brought them to our attention. We're doing that through a series of things such as motivational interviewing. All of our staff are certified in solution-based casework and motivational interviewing. So we're really working with families to try to help them interrupt those patterns.
Right. Yeah. What sort of things should foster parents be communicating with their FCS workers? So I'm a foster parent also, and I know I see, FCS workers dropping kids off from visits and stuff like that. What is helpful for the FCS workers from foster parents? Like, what do they need to be sharing with them? How do we make those visits and those sort of things go really smoothly? What's like, how can we really be working as a team together in those situations?
Yes. Teamwork is always our goal, because
Sure.
at the end of the day, those kids are counting on us to make it happen for them, and they trust that we're going to do what we need to do. So I would say information that would need to be shared would be, um, you know, any interruptions that you're finding with the child's behavior, or their communication or lack thereof, any behavioral concerns, any difficulty with getting them like resources they need right now. It's school time, so are you able to get them set up for school? Do you need any help with that? What kind of support do you need with that? Community resources, for some of those issues that maybe you have some concerns about. So we would just kind of be helping, work alongside each other. Like, let's figure it out for the kiddos. So anything you want for that child or you see a need for, I would say communicate it to us, and let's work it out together. I also like when foster parents call with the great news.
Sure.
It's just really, to me, that's kind of like a highlight, because when a child's really growing and they're making changes, it's so nice to be able to tell everybody and celebrate that with everybody. So I enjoy those calls a lot. So,
Right, because when things are going well, you're, as a foster parent, you're feeling like, oh, I don't need to reach out for resources, but then you're not hearing like what's going well and what are the positive effects of the work that we've done so far and stuff like that. So that makes a huge difference too. And also foster parents really appreciate it when, like, I know birth parents, whenever I can be like a cheerleader for something the birth parent does well, or something that like the kid is responding to well, I know for sure that that's like beneficial for the whole team too.
Exactly. And as a parent, they're working on some things too, but they also want to know that their child is in an environment where they're supported,
right,
that people are celebrating, their kiddos' successes and stuff. So just some examples that I can think of some of those foster parent moments that I've really enjoyed. A picture before track, or maybe it's a holiday and an interaction didn't work out or something, and just kind of like just those small moments or pictures that we can try to make together. I find that the foster parents that support photos of the families in their home, like a collage and stuff, is also helpful for kiddos, and plus it helps the parents feel like they're contributing. So those are just some examples of where I really see some positive results for the family.
Yeah, awesome. And you mentioned a little bit some of the changes that have been happening with Families First and things like that. So if you want to speak to some of our foster parents that have like been around for a while, you know what I mean? Like, what might look different coming up? Like, what are some of the things that, might be just new and not standard, not status quo?
Yeah, I really, really like that question too, because we're also, I think we're two.
And it's really new. So we're all trying to figure it out together. So there's tons of like grace in all of this transition, not to mention everything else that's happening in the world. But yeah, just to help them like transition well into some of the new stuff, what might that look like?
I think the changes that you're going to see, and like you said, that we're working with too, is we're really focusing on how to, we've always focused on maintaining kids in the home, but with our services now, you're going to see a more extended time of the FSS, or the family support specialist, in your home. They're going to be working with that child to kind of understand, what kind of needs that they have, and how the kiddo viewed their family development. So I would say that you will see probably a little lengthier session than you would. It wouldn't be necessarily, a 20-minute, how's it going, checking in. You're going to see a lot more in-depth services provided for that child, and the worker is going to probably want to engage you and see what's working and what's not, so we can try to, pave that over between both families. So as far as other services and stuff, I'm trying to think of big changes, but that's the biggest one I could say that that might be a little bit more difficulty. So all of the people that are kind of transitioning, I would, plan for an hour and a half, 2 hours for one of those at the very minimum once a month. So
Okay. Yeah. So just more one-on-one time with that kiddo as opposed to those things happening more with a family.
mhm,
There's going to be some more focus on those kids' opinions and things like that, hearing from them.
absolutely. And I mean, if you can, we would super duper appreciate it. Like if we can kind of make sure that that's a priority, with you supporting that child and that family with reunification efforts, because uh, it really is important to that kiddo that we get in there.
For sure. Is there anything else that you just want foster parents to know? Talked about the changes. We talked about like advocating for those positive things too. We talked about how to interact with FCS workers and work as a team. Is there anything else that you would just love our foster families to know
Try
before we
not.
wrap it up?
Yeah, I guess the thing is try not to be shy. We're all in it together. I see foster parents. I just in the scope of my work and what I do, I've been able to see foster parents that tend to be a little bit more guarded, and some that are just really in it to win it. And I appreciate and respect both sides of that. So I would really, really encourage you that if you're wanting to get involved and you're trying to make it work and you're feeling comfortable about connecting with biological family and making things work for that kiddo, like let's do it together. Let's have let's sit down and make that happen for that child and for that family, because what I see when that happens is I just see a positive support for that child even afterwards. And then it's not so hard for foster families to let go, so to speak, because you do get attached to kiddos, and it's nice to know that you'd have access to just kind of check in on them after. So
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, partnering for families is one of our number one things. We just know that it's for sure in the best interest of the kid when they know that everybody is on the same team and everybody's working towards their best interest and towards that reunification whenever that's possible. So awesome. All right. Well, thank you, Anna, very much for letting us know about all of your services. We appreciate it a lot.
All righty. Thanks for coming.
Yep.